The Liverpool Reaction, an American LFC podcast, starts now. All right, Coach, we're back. Part 2 of a 3-part series. This is the fun one, I think, from my perspective. The transfers in and out.
Yeah, I think particularly after last summer that this is where people are obviously getting very, very excited, because Liverpool have certainly gone out and splashed the cash, haven't they?
Oh my God, man. It started with bringing on Jeremy Frimpong. I believe it was £29 million, something along those lines. And it didn't stop, Coach. It just kept going. So, talking about Frimpong, and we've seen a couple of games, and we'll discuss that in part 3. What are some attributes that you see that he'll bring to the club?
Frimpong, from the games we've seen so far, he's a very attacking player. He's got tremendous pace. So, from what we've seen in the game so far, it seems that he's going to be not so much of a defensive type player, but an attacking asset. And you could arguably say that the Trent before him was an attacking asset. It's just that Frimpong does it in a different way. I mean, he's, as I say, he's got speed. He gets around the back, and he has the ability to go to goal, or he has the ability to cut the ball back and cross. So I think from Arne Slot's point of view, I think he sees him as an attacking asset as much as a defensive fullback.
Yeah, there's talks that he could also replace Mo Salah from a standpoint of in games, giving Mo a break. And you can see that. I mean, yeah, he is so fast. He's a little, he is a smaller guy. And there are some people that worry about that from a defensive standpoint when it comes to crosses. But my Lord, he is moving up and down that right wing. Definitely different than Trent. So very interesting to see how he will, bed into the Premier League. But I'm not worried. I really, really like his style of play. And it'll be interesting how him and Mo link up on that right side. Is there anything that you see from a link-up standpoint between the two, or will that just push Mo inside a little bit?
Yeah, I think, well, obviously Salah's an inverted winger, and he likes to come inside, and that creates the space for Frimpong to exploit. And from the little we've seen in pre-season so far, he certainly gets into the space very, very quickly. So he can either get the ball or he's a distraction. So he is going to be an asset going forward for sure.
Coach, the big one is next. Florian Wirtz. I mean, Bayern all year long was saying he's coming to Bayern, he's coming to Bayern. And when Florian and his family, I believe his father's his agent as well, went to Bayern to talk to Vincent Kompany about the project and the tactics, there was news that they weren't thoroughly impressed. But then Arne Slot came to the table with Richard Hughes, and they were very impressed. And they decided that Liverpool was the next spot for Florian Wirtz. I mean, what a big signing.
Yeah, I think that this is the signing, like we talked in the previous pod about how FSG has kind of built up the infrastructure so that they can compete with Manchester City and Chelsea. And I think they've been looking to make a statement signing, even though some have been critical and said, oh, well, they haven't signed anybody. So I think that they tried to do it, didn't they, a couple of years back with Casido. It didn't work out. And so I think they've been itching to do something like this for a while. And clearly Wirtz, Liverpool was the top choice. City dropped out of the running fairly early on, and they did make some comments about finances, but I suspect it was because Wirtz had indicated to him that Yeah, he had other things on his mind, didn't he? And I think from our point of view, it was Liverpool Football Club.
Coach, he's ranked as, one of the top young midfielders in the world, potentially just overall midfielders in the world. There's a top 25 that I was kind of looking at when he signed, and he's right behind Bellingham currently as one of the top midfielders in the world. What is it about him that makes him so special?
Well, I think that from what we've seen so far, he seems to have this ability. I mean, like he moves quickly, but the way that he connects with other players. So I think one of the big assets that he's going to bring to Liverpool is when teams are sitting in, he has this ability to combine, play a 1-2 with a player around the edge of the box, and he's very fleet of foot. He gets into those positions. So he's either going to score, shoot, score, or he's going to create for somebody else. So we've already seen, I think, particularly with Mo Salah, that he has this ability to combine. And I think that that's going to be of great value. And I think beyond that, he can play several different roles. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think another thing that is very impressive about him is he glides by players. I mean, it's effortless.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, the low block, right, has always been a problem for Liverpool, and they're kind of describing him as somebody that can solve that problem. And I'm very excited to see him link up with all the players. The fact that Florian Wirtz has Mo Salah at his disposal, Ekitike, which we'll get to here in a second. He's got Cody Gakpo. He's got Rio. He's got, potentially another left winger coming in. It is so exciting. And I like that he's taking corners, although they haven't been up to quality quite yet. But I think he is going to be an absolute star at Liverpool. And I'm so excited to have somebody that kind of replaces Trent's creativity in the center of the park, not in right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we get into the season how Arne Slot employs him, whether he will use him differently in various games. I think the logical position is for him to play the 10 behind the striker.
Yeah.
But I believe he also enjoys playing off the left. So I think there's potential that he can either be used in the midfield or he can be used as one of your strike force. And we have to wait and see. This is the exciting part is seeing how Arne Slot is going to use the guy, use Florian Wirtz in all these different games. Like they start off with Bournemouth. I'm not sure Bournemouth will sit in, but I think there will be other teams that they'll play. I mean, Arsenal, for example, I think it's the second home game. And I mean, Arsenal clearly will have an attacking threat, but they're very compact and tight at the back. So is a Wirtz the kind of player that can unlock a defence like Arsenal? Or when they get right into the season, teams will come and they will sit in, they will park the bus. Is Wirtz going to be the key to opening the door, as it were?
Yeah. It's very, very exciting to have him choose Liverpool and the statement that transfer is made. Coach, moving to Milos Kerkez, Hungarian international, friends with Dominik Szoboszlai, but we've seen him last year at Bournemouth, and he is a perfect replacement on the left side, don't you think?
He is. I mean, he's very much a young Andy Robertson. Certainly from what I saw at Bournemouth, in my eyes,
mm-hmm.
I mean, he pretty much does all the things that Robertson has done at his peak. So he's young, he's enthusiastic, he has that connection, as you say, to Dominik Szoboszlai because they're big friends and what have you. And actually, we should note as well, you've got the Frimpong connection with Florian Wirtz, where where they are big pals and what have you. So hopefully these are astute signings, not just in terms of what they bring to the playing field, but what they bring off the playing field as well. So Kirkus is dynamic going forward. Again, it's going to be very, very intriguing to see. I mean, over on the right, you've got Bradley as well, who actually is very good going forward too.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that's been slightly overlooked, and we'll probably talk about this in the future, is that one area where Arne Slot did rotate, and he did it in games as well, were the two fullback positions. So now he has, over on the right, he has Bradley and Frimpong. Over on the left, he has Kirkus, Robertson, or Tsimikas. So I think that we're going to see rotation, and it'll be very, very intriguing to see how he uses them in different games, in different game situations, and against different opponents. So, I mean, again, huge attacking asset going forward.
Then the next big one was Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike, French international, 23 years old. Had a fantastic season at Frankfurt, really linked up with Omar Marmouche very well over there. The highlights are, they're highlights, but you can see talent there. He's a bigger guy. I guess he's tall. He's not necessarily big. Mm-hmm. And he's a really, really good prospect for the future, but also in the present. Coach, what do you see about Hugo that would make him effective in this Liverpool lineup?
Yeah, I think that what he brings to the table from the little I've seen of him is he has the ability to link play. So he can kind of drop in, but he also has some speed, so he can get behind as well. So he offers different possibilities. And depending on whether or not Liverpool, obviously the big thing is, are they going to go for Alexander Isak? Then there's Rodrigo and all these different speculation about bringing in more attacking players this summer. Again, it's going to be a question of how the manager employs him. I mean, because sadly we lost Diogo Jota.
Yeah.
And, it seems that Darwin Núñez is on the way out. Diaz is gone. So you've got all these different pieces of the pie, and how is the manager going to put it together? So I'm not totally sure. I don't know what you feel about it, but I don't know how he's going to use them all. And my gut suspicion is that he's going to set the team up differently for different teams this year. I think that last year that they tended, like they might change tactics in games, but I have a feeling that he's going to go into games this year with maybe different plans and use players like Ekitike in different ways.
Yeah, I think it's going to, the Isak deal potentially is going to impact Ekitike from a standpoint of he can play from the left as well. So it's interesting how the next potential signing, if there's even one, that it's going to impact how Ekitike is going to be deployed. If Isak doesn't come, I think it makes sense. Obviously, he's a number 9. Makes sense a ton. Coach, you mentioned, he's able to link up play, able to drop. And if Isak comes in to the left, like I said, and if maybe somebody, we've been linked with, Rodrigo, as you mentioned as well, if Rodrigo's in the left, then Ekitike just stays at the number 9. But very exciting player. And I'm really another French guy, right, with Ibu, right? So another connection that kind of ties Liverpool together. Coach, Giorgio Mamardashvili is now in. He was a transfer made last year, but now he's in. A more than capable backup. He is pushing Allison for the number 1 spot. I don't know necessarily he'll overtake him, but it's great to have another big goalkeeper between the sticks.
Correct. So I think goalkeeping obviously isn't kind of everybody's first thought, but Liverpool have made major changes in the goalkeeping department this year. Not just with a backup in Mamardashvili, because they sent Jaros. He's gone to Ajax on loan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the younger goalkeeper Harvey Davis has gone out on loan as well. So they've brought in Freddie Woodman, who's an experienced English goalkeeper, as the number 3, and then the young choice, I believe he's a Brazilian, I think, Pecci.
Mm-hmm.
So there's major changes there, but I mean, Mamardashvili already has considerable experience as a number 1. He's made his name internationally. So I mean, he's going to put some pressure, I would think, on Alisson Becker.
When we speak about goalkeeping, Kelleher has moved to Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
It's well deserved. He's been a great, backup. He's had some great moments at Liverpool. He's made it known that he's want to be the first choice goalkeeper for quite some time, but hasn't kind of created a stink in the locker room or anything. So, I wish him the best. He was a great debutant to Alisson, and it's sad to see him go, but you understand from his standpoint that he wanted this move, and Liverpool more than honored it.
Correct. So yeah, we wish Kelleher well. I think the Brentford situation is going to be an interesting season for them, because obviously the manager has gone. Turnover of players. So my gut feeling is that he's going to see some action this year.
Yeah, he's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Coach, now Luis Diaz, or actually let's go to Kwanzaa, pardon me. So Joel Kwanzaa goes the other way to Leverkusen in a separate deal, 35 million euros, I believe it was, which is around 30 million pounds, I believe, 29 million pounds, something along those lines. With a buyback clause.
Mm-hmm.
So, Coach, Jarrell last year under Arne Slot had a difficult time, had some tough moments. The year before, he was kind of breaking into the first team with Klopp, had a better year then. This is a good move for Liverpool from a standpoint of they get money for him, but also have a buyback clause with the development that he potentially could have in the Bundesliga.
Yes. I think that this move has been made because they could get a good price for him, and because the overall FSG thing all the time is, okay, we spend money, but we bring it in. And so I think with Kwanzaa, if you look down the Liverpool squad right now, where there's clearly going to be some outgoings, but I think one component of it is that they're probably going to sell several academy players because they can get good money and then it's pure profit. So you've got Stefan Bajcetic, you've got Ben Doak, Lucas Stevenson, Cade Gordon, Owen Beck. These players, if they sell even 2 or 3 of them, they're going to get a pretty fair sum of money back in, because I believe so far, have they made something like 150 million back on transfers so far this summer? It's a good amount of money. It's a good amount of money. I mean, they've spent money, and I think that they're going to be spending more, not just on maybe another forward, but they really need to do something. I mean, because Kwanzaa going has kind of left them a little bit short-handed at the back, given Gomez. Gomez is an excellent player, but we already saw him in pre-season. It's been sent back because he picked up another knock. So they clearly have to going to do something at the back, and obviously the player that's being talked about is Crystal Palace's Mark Gahey.
Coach, what would Mark Gahey bring to Liverpool? He's the captain of Crystal Palace, has been a very good player over there, but he's a little bit different than the normal Liverpool center backs, not only from a height perspective, but also ball playing perspective. He reminds me a little bit more Matip, kind of used to kind of drive the ball forward. Gahey can do that, But what else do you feel he would bring to this squad?
Well, he's good on the ball. He's good on the ball, but I think broadly speaking, he's a seasoned, established Premier League player.
Yeah,
and I think that's a key thing, that you've got to consider. I mean, they could go and they could bring in a young central defender from Europe. They might be talented, but there's always going to be that transition of making it into the English game. So I think Guéhi, as I say, is tried and tested in the Premier League. He's an international. He was a regular, clearly, under the last manager with the national team. He hasn't played much for Tuchel because I think there have been various issues. I don't think it's been anything to do with a lack of ability or anything like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because you've got Guéhi is one player that's being speculated about, and obviously Isak. And next week, Liverpool play Crystal Palace. And then the second game of the season, Liverpool play Newcastle. So the timing of whether or not these transfers go through might be related to these games. I mean, would they sell Guéhi before the Community Shield next week? I don't know. And the same with Isak, if it comes to a point where Liverpool can sign him.
Coach, with Isak, there's certain dominoes that have to fall. I think if we were to discuss Newcastle's transfer strategy or lack thereof, and just how they've gone about this summer has been really baffling. But I guess that's for another time or another Newcastle podcast to kind of figure out. But, there was an approach earlier on in the summer, and Newcastle said, no, thank you. He's staying with us. And then all of a sudden things started happening. Isak got upset about the fee that was given and why it wasn't considered. And then Isak said, oh, well, if I'm a £150 million player, then why am I not getting paid like that? And had these exorbitant demands for weekly wages, I think up to £300,000 a week. And then he says, I just want Liverpool. And now he was training at Real Sociedad by himself. Eddie Howe was talking about how he had a small injury. That's why he didn't go on the tour with him. Then Eddie Howe said that he's not sure if he's going to stay. And, I mean, it's been a saga. Just information kind of leaking out slowly is kind of making you think that this might go through. But the one key piece is they want to bring in a forward before they sanction anything. And Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig has been the one that they've been linked to. They've already made an offer, agreed to pay the full amount. And Sesko is considering between United and Newcastle. And interesting enough, there's a certain guy at Leipzig running the Red Bull organization named Jurgen Klopp. I wonder if he has a little say in pushing Sesko to Newcastle to potentially help us land Isak.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that suggestion. I mean, I have no idea how it works. I think at the end of the day, it's a combination of what the player wants to do and then obviously the transfer fee from a club perspective. I mean, because the rumor has been that Sesko wants to go to Manchester United, even though Manchester United, didn't have the greatest season last year. It's still Manchester United, and I think that they're going to do a little better than maybe most are saying for this season. So there's the law of a top club versus Newcastle. I mean, I think that they should just dig up that old movie Goal and show Benjamin Sesko that. I don't know if you remember the movie.
I do.
Where they had the Mexican boy that came over and played and became a superstar. So they should maybe dig up Goal and I mean, because Newcastle certainly has fantastic fans and very, very passionate. So I think as many people are saying, it's a 50-50 thing, but you have to think, well, do they really want to keep a player of that level who's unhappy? How are the fans going to react to it? And I mean, like the first bid for Sesko's been rejected, which I suppose you expect that, don't you? And I mean, if Sesko does fall through, who do they look to? Nicholas Jackson, Ollie Watkins. But I believe that there are certain issues behind the scenes at Newcastle. I'm not sure if they have a sporting director right now.
They don't.
So there's that, and then isn't the CEO, hasn't she stood down or something as well?
Yeah, it's basically Eddie Howe and the owner that are kind of making these decisions, and Eddie Howe has to manage his team and get his team ready for the season. So can't imagine he's got a lot of time for this.
Right, and I mean, I watched the Newcastle game today against Tottenham, and they're a good team. Even without Isak, but the issue's going to be over a season, because they're playing in the Champions League, is do they have enough bodies that can help them compete? So yeah, they really do need to bring somebody in, especially as Callum Wilson also moved on too. So they've lost their two strikers up front, or they could lose their two strikers up front. They need to bring somebody in.
Coach, gut feeling, you think this is going to happen?
Yes and no. I really don't know. Logically, perhaps, but reality is that Newcastle hold the cards, because he has 3 years left on his contract, and they have to get somebody else who's at a level that can help them.
Does Sesko bring that level?
Well, I mean, he's a highly touted player. I mean, I don't know the player all that well, but a number of top clubs have looked at him. So they are the experts. They are the experts, and I think Chelsea were looking at him, or Arsenal, was it? Arsenal were looking at him. So they obviously plumped for Gyökeres for different reasons. Maybe Gyökeres is more experienced. He has played in England before, so he kind of knows what to expect. Whereas Sesko, how old is Sesko? He's 22, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think that Liverpool are going to be very, very busy one way or other for the next few weeks, because we've got just under a month left in the transfer window, and it's not so much for who they're going to sign next; it's who will be going the opposite direction.
Speaking of opposite direction, Luis Diaz moved to Bayern Munich. There was talk from his camp about wanting to renew a contract. He wanted more money. I think on the Liverpool wage scale, he's the 19th best player, I believe. I heard and I read about, which kind of seems a little bit lopsided from his standpoint. From our standpoint, it's a great deal. From the club standpoint, it's a great deal. And he wanted more money. He's 28 years old. We got 75 million euros for him, and he's off to Bayern Munich. It's a good deal.
Well, he's a very good player. I mean, there's no question about it. So
yeah,
obviously you've got to look to Richard Hughes and talks with the manager, I'm sure. I mean, they've got Cody Gakpo already who can play off the left, and now they've brought in Florian Wirtz who can play off the left. So they're not short-handed from that perspective. So there's a bigger plan, but my suspicion is, again, they're signing players for big money, but they're going to bring in players from the opposite direction. And whereas in previous campaigns you had kind of players like Coutinho and Suarez and Torres, they all went for big money. Liverpool don't have a player like that, so they're going to recoup money this time around by selling several players, and obviously Diaz and I think Nunes are kind of the players that they'll get the most money for. And then you've got all these academy players hey, if you get like 10 million here, 20 million there, it all adds up.
Yeah.
So I think that's how FSG does their business.
Tyler Morton had a 15 million pound deal. I forget who he went to.
Lyon in France.
Lyon, right? Okay, yeah. So
So
that's decent.
again, bringing in money, and as I said earlier, I think Bajcetic, I think Celtic are wanting him. Doak.
That's right.
Doak, apparently Everton are interested in him. I don't know if Liverpool would sell to Everton, but Stevenson, is another one. He's looked pretty good in pre-season, Lucas Stevenson, but he did well at Dundee United, and apparently they are interested in bringing him back. So yeah, I think we're going to see outgoings there, and the money all adds up.
Coach, between Robertson and Tsimikas, isn't it a no-brainer that you keep Robertson, not only from a talent perspective, but also from a leadership perspective?
True. And the rumor is that he's a potential vice captain to Virgil. So I think that's logical, but I've also heard that Tsimikas, even if he's third choice, is happy to be there, and he's probably getting paid well and all that kind of stuff. So again, you don't know how true these things are, but that's one thing I've heard floating around, and we'll have to wait and see if that's true.
So Nunes had a deal at Napoli kind of fall through. There's rumors that I believe AC Milan is interested, and a Saudi club as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are we overvaluing him? Are we outpricing him to get him sold, or what's the story there? Because although he has his downfalls, you can't question his work rate and commitment.
I think Darwin Núñez is in an unfortunate situation, in as much as he was a big money signing at the same time that Manchester City bought Erling Haaland. And so Erling Haaland, I think he's the top guy, whether you like it or not. Like that's just the way that it is. And the fee of Darwin Núñez looked more than it was for Erling Haaland, but actually it's not, because even though the transfer fee for Haaland, I think it was like 55 million or something like that, but that's the tip of the iceberg. Erling Haaland cost a lot of money, and it went to the agent, to the father, and then I believe Haaland gets paid a lot more than Mo Salah, for example. So he was a more expensive buy than I think people realize. And I think that Núñez can go to a lot of clubs and he'll score goals, but he's been put under a lot of pressure at Anfield, and so maybe it's best served that he move on.
If he stays, we're going to owe Benfica another 5 million if he plays 1 minute. So I think I think they have to kind of consider that, right?
Maybe
that 5 million outlay potentially versus kind of taking a little bit lower fee for him. We'll see what happens, but hopefully we can get 50 or so for him, and that would be a good deal, I think, in my opinion. Coach, last one, Elliott.
There's Elliott. I think there's a good chance that he'll move on, and actually don't forget Federico Chiesa as well.
Sure.
So I mean, Elliott's going to bring in 30 to 40 million, Chiesa 10 million. So there's another 40 to 50 million that goes against the transfers, and so I think that's very foreseeable, in terms of outgoings.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up. Sorry. Loans, Coach. We got Dans, Kumas, and McConnell. What are your thoughts on that? Where will they end up?
Yeah, I think those players. I think one thing that Liverpool did last year, and it kind of affected the club below the first team level, was they sent out a lot of players on loan. A lot of those players that had kind of come through with Jurgen Klopp. So I think a lot is going to depend on how they put the squad together, because they probably want a squad of 24 players. That's including 3 goalkeepers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you've always got to have a few academy players, just in case you get an injury run. So how many of players at that level are they going to keep? I think it comes down to that. You've had a couple of a younger group. You had Trainioni and Rio.
Mm-hmm.
How's his name pronounced? Is it Ingema?
Gnoma? Ngoma? Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, they are younger than Dans, Koumas, and McConnell. I mean, like, they can use them, but I don't think that they're going to get significant time. And they're probably more for the domestic cup competitions. So yeah, again, I think the manager will have some input here as to how many players he wants beyond what he considers to be his 24.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the transfer episode, part 2 of our 3-part series, talking about the summer activity of Liverpool. Hang on tight. We'll be right back for us talking about the preseason games, and we are going to preview the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. Coach and I want to take a second to thank everybody for watching on YouTube or listening on podcast format wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe or follow wherever you consume our content. We are looking forward to continuing to bring you the best Liverpool content out there. We'll see you next week.